patience in waiting, but I hope you will feel that the announcement that we've just been to for the money to enable housing was worth the wait. So apologies for that. We'll begin the meeting with a karakia and then we'll go from there. Thank you.
I want to say a good kia ora to the new councillors. First time I've actually seen in the chambers. You might have had a meeting prior. I just want to welcome you in the house and to do a great job for our beautiful city of Kirikiriroa. And the strategy I use is rowing that canoe together. Please don't paddle it in a different direction. You've got to row it together as a team in Kirikiriroa. Also want to extend a welcome to our beautiful whānau at the back there with the kaupapa that they want to talk about, looking after Mother Earth. Beautiful. E te atua kaharawa koenei mātou e whakairi ngā ki te kōrero ki te whakitara o te whare. Kia tiki ngā ki ngā kōrero hoku i weiho i reira i ngā hui ko tahake nei kia tau mai te aroha o te atua i rungi te iti me te rahi. Kia tau mai te aroha i rungi te kingi e hiko i rungi ngā tongi kura. Kei pupuru ki ngā tāonga i roto i ngā kupu, a hawha iti e hohonu ana te whakaaro keimuri. Ki te hunga ko whetiu rangitia ko huri ia ki Pairau, moi moi i roto i te ariki, koutou katoa i te manu kāhui ngā me mo te kaunihera hoki, tēnei te mihi o te ngākau ki a koutou, tēnā koutou, pai mārire. Thank you everyone and have a great meeting and a great day as you walk around. Tēnā koutou.
Kia ora Tame, thank you. Apologies for lateness, just for Kesh, but she will be here. And our first item of the agenda is the swearing in of Councillor Jeff Taylor. So we're going to do it here. Here. So he'll just read.
Just read? Yes, please. All right. I, Jeff Peter Taylor, declare that I will faithfully and impartially and according to the best of my skill and judgment execute and perform in the best interest of Hamilton City the powers, authorities and duties vested in or imposed upon me as a member of the Hamilton City Council by virtue of the Local Government Act 2002, the Local Official Information and Meetings Act 1987 or any other act.
You sign there and I sign below.
Yep.
Right, thank you everyone. Great way to start the day. Hopefully this meeting will be a nice, short and sharp meeting. Well, oh, have I just jinxed it? Yep. Oh dear. All right, so we've moved the. I've just noted the apologies for Kesh, but we better move those into the agenda. Councillor Deputy Mayor O'Leary and myself moved and seconded. All in favour? Thank you. Confirmation of the agenda, I so move. Deputy Mayor O'Leary seconds. All in favour? Thank you. Any declarations of interest on any of the items? I don't think there ought to be. No? All right. Yep, we'll go to that. We'll note that there's potentially a conflict in the PX and we'll discuss that when we get to PX. Thank you. Thanks, Mark. Now we have public forum. We have a couple of people speaking. First up, Liam, to speak to item 7 on the governance structure, terms and reference delegations for this triennium. Good morning, Liam. I think, do we get, yeah, up here if you don't mind. Thank you. Make yourself comfortable. Thank you. It's always good to see you. As a young person showing leadership and taking interest in the city, we really appreciate it. There we go.
Morning, Paula.
Good morning.
How are you all today? be here for morning to start a council meeting. You probably all know me. I was around most of the elections. But my name's Liam, I'm 15, I'm a Hamilton cycling advocate. I run a group called Ride Your Trike NZ. Before I begin on this term, I want to congratulate everyone. Man, this is a great council for this term. Congratulate you, Paula Southgate, Angela O'Leary, Hugh Mayor, and everyone else. I'll probably already congratulate you, everyone, singly, but again, this is a exciting term. We will probably do a lot of things. I'm a massive advocate for cycling, but this time I also want to advocate for other things to grow Hamilton and make it a thriving city, because we need it. Now, on the agenda, it's all about the governance and how to run this term. I had a good think about that over the last few days, and I was thinking about more and more public involvement. Now, we did great last term, but I think we can just tip up a notch. Probably don't want more meetings, but more events, and maybe even a committee that there is public members of different communities, maybe one person from disability, one person from cycling, one person from climate change. I could go on, but I'm sure it is something to think about, because you guys might look at Hamilton growing, but you might not see the little problems that could be a big problem to different people: wheelchairs, trucks, environmental, boardwalks. After you do that project, the looking after in 10, 20, 30 years, we kind of need a app-like antenna, and we need a app that weekly, if not more, explains the roadworks happening, the road closures, what's going on, if there's traffic lights being installed, cycle lanes being repainted, or, just to tell people what we are doing, because even a little change can be a massive change for someone. Maybe a new driveway installment or something. Also, I would love to work with you guys in the future and events and workshops, events,
It's coming towards the end of time. I can't see it, but I'll just carry on. But
yeah.
we've only got another little few moments, if that.
Finally, I would like to announce that we are doing a event next Feb, the 11th. You all get email, but formally I would like to invite you all. I would invite all the councillors, Deputy Mayor Angela and Paula Southgate, the Mayor of Hamilton, to come along to join in, volunteer if you want. Or you guys could have a tent and talk about your projects in cycling and other things to make Hamilton a thriving and growing city. A if anyone wants to ask questions, please do. I'll be around after. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Liam, and you made some very clear points. Thank you. Thank you very much. We always appreciate the public giving up their time and to share their concerns with us directly. And on that note, we invite Hannah Huggan up to talk to item 7, also the governance structure, terms of reference and delegations for this term. Welcome. Also not a stranger to these chambers.
I think someone named them Clark this morning, so I'm joined by Clark this morning. Right. Right, tēnā koutou katoa, nei mihi karere ki a koutou, ko Hannah Huggan toku ingoa, he mokapuna hau o te tairawhiti, ko te atanga mahaki korongo whakata o ku iwi. I would like to begin, as Liam did, by congratulating you all on your successful election to the Hamilton City Council. Local councils make incredibly important decisions for the community, and this is only possible with people like yourself raising your hand to participate. And secondly, it is an honour to be welcoming and be in the chamber with our first Māori ward representative, so ngā mihi nui kia kōrua. So my name is Hannah Huggan, he kai mahi mātua, ahau mō te pūmanawa. I'm the project lead of the Climate Action Hub, an innovative project that mobilises the community for action on climate justice. In preparation for this meeting, I was reading through the agenda and I came across the purpose and responsibilities of Council, that being to provide leadership to and advocacy on behalf of the people of Hamilton, and to include the promotion of the social, economic, environmental and cultural well-being of communities in the present and for the future. In the context of the climate crisis, the warming of the planet is occurring at an unprecedented rate, and we require drastic, systemic change to stop it and mitigate its worst impacts. Insurmountable evidence also shows how the climate crisis impacts social, economic, environmental and cultural well-being of communities in the present and in the future. And it requires coordinated and mutually beneficial solutions in response to this interconnectedness. Simply put, ka ora te whenua, ka ora te tangata. The environment must be well for the people to be well. But by all measures and standards, the environment is unequivocally unwell, and we need drastic, immediate action to safeguard its well-being. I have been coming to the Council for the past 4 years to remind this Council of this obligation, and I stress that this has to be at the forefront of your discussions today and throughout the term. In front of me, there are the people who have asked how much longer inaction can go on, how much longer the community will be treated as though we can be ignored and as though we have no power. In front of me, the people behind you guys, sorry, just to clarify, are the people who keep showing up because we know that we have no choice in doing everything we can to protect our environment. The people who repeat time and time again the opportunity in front of us to heal our relationship with the environment, an opportunity for us to reimagine what our future can be like so that it is one worth leaving for our children, a future where nature is protected and people are put before profit. Throughout this term, we will be showing up to every ordinary council meeting to remind you of the obligations you have set out today and the mandate for transformative action. We will be here to remind you that we must do everything we can to not lose the environment that sustains us. It can be done, but it must be done now. We do not have another 3 years to wait. You may have also noticed that there are some people today who were not able to join us this morning. One of them is sitting next to me. These cutouts are to represent the people in the community who are not able to be here today, but still rely on you and your leadership. These are the parents working to feed their kids, the students trying to focus on their future, and every member of the community who just cannot afford to be here. We ask that you think what is best for the community, even when we are not there. In regards to the concrete decisions that we would like to see from you today in this meeting, we want to see that all committee's decisions are consistent with our climate future, He Pū Manawa Order, and the Disability Policy and Action Plan. There's also very little reference to Te Tiriti o Waitangi. Though I applaud the work the Council has done through He Pū Manawa Order, the Council's responsibility to Te Tiriti must be explicitly expressed and adhered to. We do not have another 3 years to start acting. It can be done, but it must be done now. Kia ora.
Thank you, Hannah. That was exceptionally clear. And I just want to give you assurances that we share your concern about implementing strategies that are already in play and have been hard worked to arrive at. And this council is focused on the implementation of those strategies, not in the creation of new ideas, but to get the work done. So thank you for speaking to that point. Appreciate it. Thank you. All right, councillors, we will now move to the confirmation of the open minutes from the last meeting. Also move, Deputy Mayor Angela will second, and we'll all say aye. Because it was a very short meeting, right? Not much to approve there. Going to my chair's report on the next item. It's a very short report. Obviously, we're still at the beginning of our business. I'm not going to speak to it, just to say it's really exciting today when we come together to confirm the structure so that we can really get into the real work that we have to do. Local government from experience is always a weird beast after the elections and between Christmas, because you know what New Zealand's like in late December, January. It's all at Whitianga Beach, I think, or somewhere else. And so we want to be ready to get into it as soon as we come back from our Christmas break. But of course, we've already been doing the work in these roles, so we need to keep going and set up for success next year. I'm really excited about working with the team, all of you, so thank you. Any questions on my report? Happy to move it. Thank you, Councillor Wilson, seconds. All in favour? Aye. Opposed? Cool. That brings us now to the governance structure, terms of reference and delegations for the committees. In opening this, there are a few things to speak to, some technical amendments that will be spoken to. Do you want me to do that? Oh, I'm going to do it then. Excellent. So there's a couple of things, but just in the round, I want to say thank you very much for the way that we worked through this. Some elements of how we're organised this time are a little bit new, and I really want to give them an honest go, just to really delve into the skills and experience that people have here. And these thinking groups, call them whatever you might, panels, working groups, advisories, these are groups for us to come together and think at depth at some of the issues we've got to face, and I'm really excited to have you all in the room with your different perspectives leaning into that work. Okay, so just a couple of changes to on page 10, the common delegation, the working groups. The review period is updated from 9 to 6 months. It was always, when we set it up, a senior team, we looked at it, we decided 6 months was good. We worked with the senior management also to determine what worked for them. That doesn't mean that if a group is set up for 6 months, it will disappear at the end of 6 months. It means that it's a time to sit back and say, how do we regroup that? What do we need to focus on? Do we roll it out some more? So, so please don't take that to mean that, you know, they will all disappear if the work is still there to do. The work will still be done. However, some things, as you know, are very discrete pieces of work, like the Communities Facilities Plan that Kesh is working on right now. The work will be done by February because the decision that arises from that work will be done by February. So those are the kind of nuances. So please bear with me and let's give it a go. And I intend to sit down with you all after a year and have a conversation about what's working and what needs tweaking and anything else, okay? So let's keep that in the back of the mind. Nothing's concreted in, is it? Community and natural environment, clause 14, page 24. We just noted that it was in conflict with the city investment program. It reads as to determine the priority of council projects suitable for contestable and philanthropic funding, excluding NZTA funding. We'll update it to receive reports on the progress and performance of the city investment program, including the status of internal applications, at least 6 monthly. And that's just to make it consistent with the delegations. Anybody confused about that one? Because I'll pause after each one just in case you are confused about that, and then we can ask staff for clarity. Clause 15, page 24, currently says to coordinate and make decisions on proposals, applications for external funding, and the distribution of council funding and funding provided to the public for public art, recreational and community facilities and amenity. This will also be updated to say to coordinate and make decisions on proposals for the distribution of council funding and funding provided to council for public art, recreational and community facilities and amenities. So, okay, so that's just, again, clarity with the delegations. Two new things. Community grants application subcommittee has moved a little bit. The membership of the Community Grants Allocation Subcommittee will be updated to be the chair is Councillor Kesh Naidu-Rofe, deputy is Emma Pike, we've got Councillor Anna Casey-Cock, Councillor Jeffrey Taylor, Moko Taurika, Ewan Wilson, to be the panel for that. Council, other panels, membership of Hei Pomanawa Ora has been updated to include Councillor Moko Taurika. Climate advisory, and this is where all the people at the back of the room should breathe a sigh of relief, as you'll see now where we're going to do some of the work. Climate strategy advisory group reporting to council. The reason it reports to council is because the work will get done across 3 completely different committees. It will get done across community and environment, naturally, where the natural heritage converges. It will be done in infrastructure and ops and transport, because carbon is related to transport and how we build our city. So that's Angela's committee, and it'll also be in part in Ewan's committee, which is strategic growth, and that might be things where we do water assets. Oh, sorry, Ryan. Ryan's committee. No. So Ryan's committee, strategic growth, where it relates to growth, infrastructure and assets, water, sustainable water and other things will come into that. Obviously there's an overlap with Angela because Angela deals with water infrastructure, so there's interface. So, but I'm sure we can work that out. So the Climate Advisory Group I'm proposing to be, and remember this is all to enable a fair distribution of work and also to accommodate people's passions somewhat. So it will be led by Louise, Deputy Mayor Angelo Taylor, Sarah Thompson, Ewan Wilson, Andrew Bidder and Anna Casey-Cox. That's what I'm proposing.
I think Jeff and I just got married.
You said Angela Taylor.
Taylor.
Oh,
It was a nice wedding, just small.
sorry.
Very informal.
Where's the honeymoon?
Fiji.
And I wasn't even invited, honestly. It's going to take time to undo habits, isn't it? Right? Anyway, any questions or concerns on that? I don't see any questions. No? Okay. So let's now move to the recommendation. If we can put it up, please, Amy.
Just a question before, just on those changes, so they are not reflected in the diligent. Diligent on laptop sucks, doesn't it? It's really
Technically,
clunky.
yes.
I normally
but we've
bring
just
my
emailed it
iPad.
out as well to
Oh,
make
great.
ease of reference. A
Wonderful,
nice
thank
table
you.
that will be referenced
Okay.
in the motion as well.
Ah, there we go. Wonderful, thank you.
Okay.
Kia ora. I notice on the terms of reference, the great majority of the meetings are every 2 months, and understand that we need to set up that structure. I wonder when we might be able to expect the schedule of the meetings. Kia ora,
Intending
Angela.
to bring that one to the next meeting of council, but we would like to speak with each chair about where they line up. We're in the process right now. I'm hoping that this will be completed end of next week. You'll receive the first copy.
Thank you.
I think there'd be a chance, Councillor Maxine, at the briefing, we have that half an hour at the start for elected member type discussions, so we'll probably just run through some of that mechanical stuff and those before that gets to a formal meeting.
Thank you. Just noting that early in the new year, we generally start with a finance and monitoring committee meeting, and that's still going to be the pattern.
Why do you need to be first?
I think you will be first because we'll be having some annual plan discussions before Christmas too.
Yeah, so I was just about to say that same thing. Yeah, right. Will we do looking at the finances where they sit well before then? We're going to get into that important work of leading up to the annual plan as shortly as possible. So there'll be that'll be the thing that keeps you busy to the end of the year and into the new year. So, but I agree, we need that schedule because, of course, everybody needs to plan for that particular time for their holidays and their much-needed break, I think, including mine, obviously. Okay, any other questions? Can't see it on the board. Oh, there you go. Councillor Casey Cox.
Kia ora. Just to follow on, I guess, from the public forum and Hannah's point in particular around, little mention of Te Tiriti o Waitangi. And I'm wondering if there's a way, particularly in our reporting, and I did mention this to Sean yesterday, in Mesh, I think there is a plan possibly to do some reporting back to council on Te Tiriti and climate. Is that right, in future reports?
That's correct. We are looking at the reporting templates, but the intention is that with all the council and committee reports, that the report writers have to consider all the strategies, especially the foundation strategies, of which He Pau Manawa Ora and climate are two, but also specifically focusing on those for the council reports as well. We also have some training lined up for elected members that we'll be talking to you about in the coming couple of weeks.
Okay, kia ora.
Yeah, and we had the first convening of through Milena, who's going to chair He Pau Manawa Ora yesterday, to consider how we work across those portfolios. So all of those strands will come together in due course, and I have no doubt if they don't, you will remind us, which is great. Councillor Thompson.
Thank you. This is, I think, related. It's just a more general question around standing orders. Will we be looking at a review of those in the new year?
Yes.
That the plan?
Yes. Are we not doing them now?
Or earlier, there is a request for some additional changes to come to the next meeting.
Yeah,
So-
but there's some ways of running the meetings under standing orders that I want to discuss with you out of council chamber to have a more iterative look at them, with greater number of councillors around the table, limits to speaking time, questioning and other things. Is something to be considered, especially as I do hope that these advisories and panels and stuff, these advisory groups, will really lean into the work at that level, and we'll still have workshops. Otherwise, every meeting will be very, very, very long.
Yeah. Excellent.
Yes. Yeah. So, but I'd rather talk with you on that at an elected member briefing than to try and nut something out now. Is that okay, everyone?
So that's what the process will be. We're going to have a chat at the briefing.
Yeah.
Any amendments that we might feel as a group. Yeah.
Yeah. Because I think it's really important with standing orders that we all buy into the way. So, like, if we're going to drop speaking times or limit question times in the chamber, but allow fulsome questioning outside of the chamber, we need to think about the ramifications of that and get your comfort with it. Certainly, we don't want to stop people asking, giving pertinent political debate. So there's a balance. Excellent. Any other questions? No. So I'll be happy to move the proposed governance structure, terms and reference and delegations as set out there, with noting the amendments that I read out to you that you have had emailed to you or should have popped up on a update of diligence. I've moved. Deputy Mayor Angela O'Leary is second. We'll just practice voting with the board, I think, just to get you all in the thing. So, we're going to vote on the board, please. Oh, I thought I did it. It's not doing it, Amy. That's not a good start. Oh, do they? Oh, have I done it? Hey!
The motion is carried unanimously.
Hey. Thank you. That's good. All right, now we'll go to item 8, which is the elected member remuneration and elected member support policy, which is set out, where there has been some offline conversations I don't need to talk to any of that unless, we'll just go off the back of questions, I think. Because we have had some discussion in the round on it. Are there any questions? No? Okay then. Well, oh, brilliant. Councillor Wilson moves. Do we have a seconder? Councillor Van Oosten, thank you. Let's go to the debate. As mover, you get to speak first. Oh, excellent. Anybody else like to speak to the? Yes.
Yeah, maybe just a couple of words that over the many terms some of us have been around the table, the timing of things has always been a challenge. So I think the opportunity for us as a council and what we've been talking within the Mayor's office and with governance is that when we go to submit to the local government review, that we can actually put some of the challenges with timing from the Remuneration Authority into that feedback. So I think that's actually been a positive outcome.
Yeah, I agree. I think there's some other matters that we've always raised with them that we've never had due traction with, but we could when you compare some of the benefits of parliamentarians and councillors and other things like that don't compute or compare in any way. So, yeah, we'll have that battle on another day, though. Thank you. It's been moved. It's been seconded. There's no further debate. Let's go to the vote on the board, please. Did you bring them both?
The motion is carried unanimously.
Okay, sorry about that. We're now on to item 9, which is Hamilton Urban Growth Strategy. Morning, Stafford.
Good morning, Mayor and councillors. This report is coming to you today for procedural reasons. So normally, in the order of events, this would have been agreed to and processed at the time that we decided to go out for consultation. But because of the elections landing when they were and the structure of the new council that has been agreed today, we can now confirm the most appropriate approach to hearing verbal submissions on the Hamilton Urban Growth Strategy. So those submissions are still open currently. They're going to close this weekend on Sunday. And then following that, we'll be able to hear what the public has to say about our urban growth strategy. Following hearing what the public has to say, we'll have a robust discussion about making refinements to the strategy. That will happen early next year. So in the lead up to that, we'll have a really good opportunity to hear how we're growing as a city affects the public and how they think that the strategy should be refined. So with that, I'm happy to take questions.
Can I just say, in support of this process for the newer councillors, that you are welcome to sit in those hearings. It's hugely beneficial in the early days to understand how those type of decisions impact our work, and especially this one, which is related to such a critical plan. So yeah, look, I invite you. Regulatory's a committee of the whole anyway, and that's to allow us to all engage. But you know, please do take the opportunity to understand that regulatory interface, because that's where public are submitting. And in actual fact, I do believe they have expected us to be across their issues and read those submissions of these kind of key matters. So, any discussion? Are you going to? Is that a discussion? Yeah, question? Yes.
For those new members, feel free to bring cake, because it'll be the first meeting that I chair.
Are you? Question, Councillor Van Oosten?
It's just with regard to the closing date, and I know that there's been a robust engagement process around that, and so my question is about the level of submissions, and are there any groups that you expected to have higher engagement with who haven't, and what might be planned to, in the last few days, gather up feedback from those parties.
I think we've had rather good turnout for feedback, to be honest. We're currently around 60 submissions, and before working here, I wouldn't probably, even though I quite like discussing these matters, probably wouldn't find myself submitting on something like this. So I think there's quite good engagement. There will be a flurry of late submissions, I anticipate. A few of the ones that are supported by more professional, paid, services come in at the last minute. So I know there are a few ones missing that I anticipate. So I think somewhere around the 70 to 80 submissions I would anticipate at this point, and I deem that to be pretty sufficient. And additionally, we're lucky to know what the public think around growth through other consultations. So we'll wind our general broad themes from that into this strategy where appropriate. So I think given that we have both of those, we'll have some pretty good submission information to amend HUGs and make it better.
And you'll be reaching out to those potential groups that you're expecting a response from as a reminder, or?
We have reached out to them several times already, so and
Cool.
through pre-consultation, invited them to submit. So I think the process to date is very robust.
Thanks, Stefan.
I think you raised some good issues that we've raised in our inductions about the way we engage, which we'll cover off again in further workshops till we're, till we're satisfied that the engagement methods we use increase engagement. So a lot more water to go under the bridge on that one. But thank you for the good questions, Maxine. Mark, you would like to move, wouldn't you? Yep. Ewan, would you like to second? Thank you. We'll go to the vote.
The motion is carried unanimously.
Excellent. We're going to move into public excluded. Huh? I'll move. Councillor Ewan will move. And Maxine will second because she looked at me. There you go. All in favour? Aye. Yeah. So it is public